Okay, so let's review these anvils. A couple days ago, I had a forge night with a bunch of the young men from my church group. I had 3 young men on this anvil and 3 young men on that anvil. I had 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds bashing away at these things, working on railroad spike knives. In other words, I had a fairly controlled experiment where the amount of work being done on each anvil was roughly the same. Both of them were using strikers with my massive sledgehammer, which is sitting over here. And they were wailing away on the anvil, and they've never had any experience forging. In other words, there's going to be a lot of opportunity to miss and hit the anvil. Now, with the 55-pound anvil, I have some experience with this thing. I've owned a few of them, and they tend to dent. They get the job done, and I've done a lot of blacksmithing projects with them in the past. I'm not that great of a smith, so it's honestly probably my wheelhouse. It's the right level of anvil for me. Not to mention cheap and accessible. So let's take a look at both of them and see how much damage is done to the surface and go over a little bit of a comparison, pound for pound. How valuable are these things? Okay, 55-pound anvil, 1 day of earnest forging. And let's get that cleaned off a little bit. Here we have just a little bit of surface pitting. You can see there, almost looks like a fingerprint, that. Actually, that's probably texture from the hammer. You know what? It is. That is texture from the hammer. It picked up that detail. Isn't that interesting? Wow. Okay, now over here, we've got some minor denting. Honestly, this isn't horrible. Pretty darn good. I've gotten a lot of really good value out of these anvils. I think you can pick one of these up for roughly 70 bucks. Not bad. Now let's check over here. Over here we've got the 60-pound Castel anvil. This thing sets it apart. This anvil has it's kind of a German style. It's got 2 horns. One of them's the round mandrel, one of them's the square. And it's also got this, this punch hole, but not just the hardy hole. But one thing that is neat about this surface is I do not see any dents whatsoever. I know that I personally missed and hit this thing a couple of times, once even with the sledge. I'm not even seeing any surface pitting from that either. This thing costs about $130, so not quite double, but pretty close for roughly the same poundage of anvil. But I love this thing. I really, really love this thing. I am deeply impressed by that surface finish. It's giving me a little bit of confidence. Makes me want to try some more detailed projects, because I'm not going to worry about the surface pitting affecting the underside of whatever I'm working on. And here we have the beginning knife project. Over here we have an upcoming project. I'm working on a way to make a double bellows. That will be a topic of another time. We were working with some pretty heavy steel. This is a stone chisel that I'm trying to turn into a drift for making axe heads. Really? Yeah. I will take you up on that, good sir. I might do it myself.
reasonably proud of that.
This is the surface finish without any grinding that I have managed to achieve using that Harbor Freight steel anvil. Just look at that. I have never had something fresh from the forge look that metallic before. It's a very dark color, but still. It's amazing.
Good.
Ready, get set, and here we go.
Another blorb. Oh, it's a big blorb.
Oh, a really big one.
I guess, yeah, this is the last forge. Might as well use everything.
It looks like a bow or